Good morning, everybody. It's Connie, and today I am showing you how to make this cute little kind of a folio slash junk journal slash whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's made out of manila file folders. These were like all the rage. Like 10 years ago or something. If you go on YouTube, you will find like dozens of videos on how to make different versions of this. And so, let me just zoom in a little more. Anyway, so I want to make the one that doesn't require a lot of measuring and cutting and all of the big tools. Sorry, I'm fixing my lights a little bit to cut out some of the shadows of my hands. Okay, so let me just run through this for you to show you what we're going to end up making. You can tell, if you really look hard, you can tell it's a manila file folder, but basically it has pages, and on these pages I have put different types of DSP. This is the gallery paper, and oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I didn't want to cover it up. This one, I've made a side pocket, and on this page, if you look at the top, you can see there's a top pocket. So you can slide things into the top. If you wanted to do photos, you could do photos. You could do a tag like I did. Everything is distressed. I went into my stash and I decorated it with just leftover parts and pieces that I've had sitting in a little container on my desk for quite a while, and I just need to use that stuff up, and this was a great use for it. Then on this page I made a side pocket, and I just thought it was really cool to be able to, for my daughter to put her postcards and stuff in, but you could easily make that for photos instead. But I just love the idea of making lots of little pockets. And then I used some of the papers in a way that they would show because I didn't want to cover them up. And then I did put a little string around so that, you know, it could be kind of tied shut easily. So let me show you how to make the bones of this. And basically you use manila file folders, and you know, they come with tabs at the top, and you can get one with the left or right or a middle tab. And almost all the ones that I've seen, people try to shoot for the middle tab one. I think this one right here was a left-sided tab, if I remember right. But it doesn't matter other than how it will look to you in the end. And there's a lot of different types of file folders that you can make where the tab might make more of a difference. So like this one is one where it's folded to be longer, and where the tab falls may matter to you. And then I've made, this is a really old one. This one I made ages ago. Basically, you put holes in here and you put like an elastic, and you can slide a journal piece in there, and then this glues to this one like this. And then you have envelopes here for ephemera, or you could do a waterfall with photos, and then the whole thing shuts like that. And so I haven't made this one for a long time, and I gave all of the ones I had made away it's been a while. So I'm just going to grab one folio and show you the version I'm making. So I'm going to open it up, and one of the things that I always try to remember is to keep the tab on the right side. So wherever your tab is, I keep it to the right. For some reason, that just helps me remember what I'm doing and the orientation of what I'm doing. It helps to have a bone folder. You'll need a little pair of scissors. So these have a natural fold in the middle, and they also have like some pre-scored folds to make, so that the folder will hold more. We're gonna be messing around with that crease. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the bottom of the folder and go up. And you want to line this up the best you can. Now, these folders are not perfect. They, some of them end up being a little bit off. The cutters and trimmers that are used to make them, I don't know if they're used making a giant die or what, but sometimes you'll get one that's really wonky. And just trim it. That's all I can say is just trim it. So we folded this up, and it makes it long and skinny. Crease the heck out of it, and then open it back up again, and you can see where you are with your tab on the right side, right? So just always kind of double check yourself. Make sure your tab is on the right. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold it shut. We're going to go from like left to right, okay? Now, here's what happens. You get like a lot of buckling and stuff in here. It feels like it's not going to want to fold on you. And all you have to do is crease it well, try to keep the top nice and straight, and just keep creasing, and messing with it until it does what you want. Now you can see, now that I've creased it, I've got this wonky part here and here. It's a little off. I could go ahead and trim that, but I tend to just trim this up at the very end. I don't worry too much about it, to be honest. It's just a little book that we're making. It's not like, a piece of art. Okay, now we're going to take this top piece and fold it back. And when you fold it back, you can decide if you want your tab showing or not, but I'm going to line it up directly with the edge of the paper, okay? And then I'm just going to kind of finger press it in place because it's a lot of layers that I'm messing with. And then I'm going to use my bone folder and re-crease that nice and sharp and crisp. So we fold it in half, we folded it back, and now we're going to flip it over and do the same thing, fold this piece back. Now, what we want is this, show you where I'm at. When we fold it, we want this nice folded edge right here to be lined up. So don't worry about this edge, worry about the fold. And so I'm lining up here, and I'm lining up here, and I'm just pressing that into place. And then I'm gonna go back in with my bone folder. Like that. I'm going to crease the bottom again. I'm just re-creasing the whole thing. Okay. So, basically, here we go. When you open it all back up, you have 8 panels. And what's going to happen when we make our book is that this will like adhere, and that's where some of our pockets will be. Now, one of the things that I like to do at this point is you want to make a cut, which is like an upside down T. So we're going to cut this line here. We're going to cut this line from here to here. Okay? And by doing that, it allows some looser pieces. You could just keep it, you know, just like this, and then just glue, and you would have pieces just like that, and that's how you can make some pockets. You can see, but it is kind of nice to, I'll show you what happens when you cut that part. All right, so we're opening this back up. Our tab is to the right. We're making an upside down T. So we're going to cut this top and cut this side. Now, it is hard to cut directly on the score. So I tend to cut just a little bit to the right of the score and just a little bit to the left of the score. And it cuts that bump out of your folder. It's just annoying, and it won't show, like, it won't be like some big gap in your folio, but that little bump in there bothers me when I'm folding it. So I have a tendency to try to remove it a little bit. It helps to have smaller scissors for some of this. All right, let me do this side. I think our recycle guy is here. You might be hearing that. Hear a big truck in the background. All right, so there we go. Tab to the right. We've cut our upside down T here and here. That's the folio, you guys. That's basically it. Now here is where it gets weird. A lot of people flip this backwards and then flip this backwards. Like flip their folds a different way and then fold their book like an accordion. And what that does is it allows for you to have a cover on the front and a cover on the back. But to me, it puts your folds at the top. And so you have to kind of fiddle around with your folio a little bit. I'm going to do that one more time just so you can see what I did. All right. Tab to the right, upside down T, fold it backwards. And then this flap folds backwards, and this flap folds backwards, like that. And then when you put it up on its side, you're going to go back into your accordion fold like that. And the closed folded areas will be the bottom of your book. The open, lots of open positions will be the top of your book. All right, so now we basically have our book, and we're gonna score and fold. Now, this is not a work of, this is not like science or anything. It doesn't have to be like perfect. And if you want to, let's just say you're like, I don't want to fold it backwards. I want to fold it back forwards again. You can do that and fold your pieces that you cut. The cut pieces allow you to have a cover, which is nice. And then back again to like I said, the problem is you want your covers on the outside of your book. That's why I flipped. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world to make your book differently, right? So, backwards, flip, flip. But you will, in watching a lot of the YouTube videos that I watched, there are some people who just, they make every folio just a little bit different. And I'm like, that's okay. None of them turned out bad. None of them. So now is when I take my scissors and I trim things up a little bit. So I might even put this in my trimmer to do that. If this bothers me, you know, I might trim a little of that off. This is where I just try to make it look a little nicer is all. So it doesn't, you know, it won't have to be perfect. Don't worry. Okay. So now we're going to make pockets. This will be the front cover. And then here is a pocket. Now see, I can make it a side pocket like that one that I put, the postcards in. I can make, so I'll make that a side pocket. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my liquid glue or tear and tape, and I want to adhere this part right here so that when this folds, that this will open this way, this will open this way, and I won't get that flopping down. So, and I'll have that pocket right here. Okay, then I'm going to turn the page, and I have this here, and you see how it's like still accordion style. I want a pocket going into here. So I am going to now just glue that together. It's kind of like when you're watching me, you're probably like, oh my gosh, how is she keeping that straight? But when you make one, it's kind of obvious where you need that glue to be. And then, so we have our cover, we have our side pocket. Now we just made our top pocket, and now we have this pocket, and you can decide how you want it to be. So I need it to first be closed, which we'll put glue here. And then I think I want it to be a slide in on the side pocket, kind of like the one that I put the little album in, this one right here, where it just will, I can just slide things in. So I need to glue the top. And that way it'll just be a pocket that goes from the side. Okay. And now I'm just gonna glue this and this. That's it. I glued my 3 pages essentially. So now everything is glued together. I just need to wait a moment for my glue to dry. But here you go. Cover, the slide in style pocket, a top style pocket, and a side pocket. Now, to make my side pocket work better, since I have 2 tabs there, is sometimes it's hard to get things in and out of there. You know, if you're trying to, you know, slide something in, it's hard to get them apart. So some people use a round punch or something to make a slot. And what I did on mine is I just cut this back piece off. Like I just cut that back tab because it's just easier. And like I said, it doesn't, Doesn't have to be perfect. You could put it in a trimmer if you want it to be perfect. But my idea here is just to make the pocket easier to get into, you know. Now, the next part is to add some, like if you don't want this edge showing, you need to add some ink or something. And you could just take a cube and go around the edges like this. It's very fast. Or you can take a, dauber. I like the dauber because, you know, you can get it more precisely where you want it to be. And I'm using Secret C because today I cut some paper to put on this. That is the boho vibes paper, and I thought it would look really cool. So you just kind of go from page to page and do an edge. And I got out my silicone because it's kind of nice. A glass mat would work fine, but and since we're covering almost all of it with paper, it doesn't even matter if you're messy. So it won't show. Now the other thing on this particular book that I did was I took a corner rounder and I rounded the edges of the book. I think it gives it a nice look to round the edges. If you're going to round the edges, you need to do that you know, before you ink, otherwise you'll have to re-ink. And then I know my center will show a little bit. So anyway, I am just gonna really quick do this. How are you doing today, JJ? I was just getting some stuff ready to send to you this week. So everything has just been crazy around here. This has been a racetrack week and it's been nutty. Steve had some hose with his transmission or something blew out while he was on the track. And so we had to have our car, you know, basically brought home on a trailer. And so we've been spending a lot of time just, you know, you got to get it where it's got to be. You got to get it to the mechanic and all that. I don't know. It's just work. Just part of being at the racetrack is having stuff like that happen. But it's never convenient, never. When everything is going great, it's great. Oh, on vacation. How amazing. I love vacation. Are you doing anything special? Is it a staycation? Are you going anywhere? You know, I have changed my house to the point where I love being home. People are always like, let's go here, let's go there. And I'm like, I'd rather just stay home. I have created an environment that I really enjoy being at. And so it is a little bit hard for me to leave sometimes. We don't travel a lot anymore like we used to. Staycation and gardening. Oh, yes. Well, today was supposed to be a yard day. You know, the weeds are just starting to take off. So if you get them early, you don't have the crazy stuff in your yard later as much. But it is raining like crazy here. So that ain't gonna happen today. I told my dad I would mow his yard this weekend at some point. He doesn't want to do anything for Father's Day. He's like, I didn't even know it was Father's Day. Don't worry about it. And I said, well, we could cook out. We could go out to eat. We could just hang out a little bit. And he goes, So I don't think he cares too much about Father's Day, but that's all right. That's my dad. I see him all the time, so it's not like, you know, this day is a special day for us. Okay, so here we have our book, and make sure our pockets are going the right direction. And then I went ahead and grabbed the boho vibes paper, and I don't have tons of it left. Well, I do, because these packs are so big, I guess, but I've been using it like crazy. So you get like 6 sheets of each or something like that, and you get a lot. It's 2-sided. You get several patterns. They're all really great. I love the color scheme because it's perfect for photos and stuff. If you want to put I love that print right there. That's my favorite. And I love this rainbow print. This is my last sheet of it, right? This one right here. I'm gonna have to order more if I want to use it again. But I love the green's my favorite color, so I probably should have made the cover green. And then I thought I'd go ahead and use the rainbow as part of my front cover. So my next step is, if I wanted to round corners, I need to round corners now. I don't think I will today. And then I have some things for the cover. I have this leftover rainbow, and I have this one. I went ahead and made this one because it matched the paper a little bit better. So the next thing we need to do is put our cover piece on. And so I just kind of put these in order. And you just glue them in place however you want. And I'm putting this near the top. And I have a little border all around. And then I took that print that I like so well, and I'm going to put it at the bottom. The main thing when you're making a book like this is it's going to get handled. And so make sure that your edges of your paper, your corners and your edges are glued down fairly well, because let's see, I can't remember how I had each page. I think I'm going to put those like that. I've been trying to, I cut them ahead, but I didn't really plan. I could make them just plain even, but I like, the whole idea is to use these cool papers, so. I've been getting some project things together for sending to some of my customers who have purchased from me this month. And I just feel a little, I don't know. I may have to put some more blue on that. I'll probably get a smaller dauber and put extra blue on that. And then I think I'm going to use this one. So to figure out, the thing about these folders, since they're all just a tiny bit different sized, is to make sure that you make sure that you measure your own book. Like I would tell you what size, I mean, like mine is 5 3/4 approximately by about 4 1/4. So I cut my pages 4 by 5 3/4. And like I said, it's very approximate because these file folders are not always square. They're not always perfect. They're perfect for these kind of little journals. And just imagine if, like my thought on this one, I have a friend who's not feeling well. And so, you know, like I could just put inspirational quotes on each page and make little pockets on each page. I mean, you know, you can make that any way you want. You could put photos. I could fill it with photos of my cat or my dog. You can see the 3 bumps from, that's the original fold of that file folder. And I'm just covering it up. And by doing that, you know, it just kind of makes it a little bit sturdier. That one is a little wide. I am going to trim that. Like I said, sometimes the folders are not totally perfect. So dry fit your pieces just to be sure. And then on the last page, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to make it look like a sun. And I think this stripe. And this one obviously needs to be trimmed down quite a bit since I cut that piece. Yeah, that'd be good. I didn't blue my center. Good enough. So the rest of the day is going to be a little bit errands. We have some errands to do, but Steve is home, which is great. We can get a lot done together. I really like this print. It feels wrong to cover it up. I think this book would look good with the yellow or pink as a border also. Okay, so the back cover, the front cover looks like this. The back cover, I just need to decide how I want it to look. Do I want it to continue that peach? I like that, so it's this, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Now, the other thing, I want to put a tie on this book. There's a couple of ways you can do it. Right now, before you put any paper on, you could put a ribbon around it or twine and glue it down. Let me just show you. So let's use white. And you want it long enough that it's going to reach all the way around the book, right? So at least double that plus some wrapping. And it doesn't matter if you make it extra long. You just want it, you can always trim it down. You can't make more. So if I just put that here and I'm just gonna put that in a little line of glue, and then I'm gonna go ahead and glue my paper on top of it. Make sure I've got this right side up. Yeah, Okay. Since otherwise my rainbows would look more like faces or something. All right. And then on the front, I'm going to, I'm just going to use a brad. You could use a button, anything to wrap your twine around. And let me just get out a hole punch. Sorry, I have this gigantor hole punch. And you just kind of want it approximately lined up with the twine where you have it, right? I did pretty good. All right, and then I'm just gonna put this through the hole and loosely open it. I don't want it like smashed to the book, right? That can be a little bit loose. I could have even waited to put that paper on and put it over the top. But the idea will be then this will, you know, you can wrap it around the book. You can adhere it just like that. You can tie it off just like that and trim that down. So that's my plan for that. And then, see, this rainbow is a little too peachy. So I went ahead, I had this in my, I have this whole box of scrap rainbow stuff from the other project that I made. And so I'm going to go ahead and I want to put this on. And then this was in my scrap pile from a scrapbook page that I made before. So I'm just going to adhere everything down. And remember, this is the front of your book. It needs to be fairly well glued around the edges because it will get handled. There's that. I could even put a little foam or dimensionals on here, but I'm not going to. And I'm just gonna put this on the front. You could put anything on there that you wanted. Isn't it great? I have some hearts. Flip. Let's see, what else do I have in here? I thought I had more hearts than that. Oh, there they are. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some hearts on the front. I like it. Do I need another? I have it. I could put gems. I mean, you know, there's a lot of options there. All right. So there's my book. Basically, I just made a journal book with you. And then each page, I need to blue that one up a little bit. But you can see I could add anything in there. I can make photo holders. I can make little books like that one that I had. You can put photos in it. There's a top loader. I can put a ticket or something inside of there or a tag. And then here's another side loading one that you can pull something out. So you can load it up any way you want. And you don't need this thread to go all the way around. You could just do it like that and cut it short. That's fine too. Or you can make it where it wraps the whole thing. A button works there. If you don't have any brads, oh my gosh, I went back in my stash. Brads, can you believe it? I'm not sure how I feel about this blue. I'm deciding about it. But Again, I'm going to show you this one more time and then we'll be done for the day. So this one was made with the gallery paper, and I just added some ephemera and stuff to the top. This is a giant brad. You can see the difference in size. I had a couple of those in my stash and I thought, might as well use them up. And then this is just a clip. I can put clips on here also. It doesn't matter. And a little flip down file with some info in it. This one has, I put a little book inside. I basically just took, you know, copy paper from my printer and cut it down, and I poked a hole here and here, and I threaded twine through it and tied knots. That's how I made this book. It was not hard. And then I grunged it up a little bit, and it goes right inside of here, and it can be like a journal. And then this one is the top one with the tag that can go in and out. This one has the side pocket where you can tuck things in, photos or whatever you want. I added this just because it's in my stash. I knew my daughter would love it. I originally bought a bunch of these giant paper clips to make bookmarks. You know how you can cut circles and glue them on and make like little bookmarks for books. And so I had a whole bunch of them at one time, and I just had one or two left, and I thought I'll use it. And then this one is just the back cover, which I just put a fun message on, and the end. And this one I put the twine on the front and made it go to the back like that. And I made it long enough where it could go back and forth on this one. And so it's just a different look, something a little different. Okay, I hope you love it. I can't wait to see yours. Now, the other thing that you can do, I just want to give you one last idea before I leave. You can make multiples of these. Let's say you make 2 or 3 of them, and then you just glue this page to the next one and just keep going. You know, like, let's just pretend this is the right size. You just glue those 2 pages together and keep going, and then glue another one together. So this could be as thick as you want. Just make sure your binding area, the folded areas, are all even as you go, so that your book will look a little more put together. So, all right, that's what I got today. Have a good weekend, you guys. Bye-bye.